Today, on the Daily Scoop podcast from the Scoop News Group, Marines take part in the Air Force's AI Accelerator, and Senate lawmakers look to strengthen Secret Service financial cybercrime probes. It's Wednesday, July 31st, 2024. Welcome to the Daily Scoop podcast, where you'll hear the latest news and trends facing government leaders. I'm the host of the Daily Scoop podcast, Billy Mitchell. Thanks so much for joining me. Here are today's top headlines. An artificial intelligence hub led by the Department of the Air Force and the Massachusetts Institute of Technology is opening its doors to Marine Corps participation. Until recently, the only active duty members of the military tapped to participate in the DAF-MIT AI Accelerator were airmen and guardians. However, 2 Marines have been selected to be part of the next cohort of so-called phantoms. Over a 5-month period, they will conduct research and be expected to ultimately produce a publishable impact paper about their work. Lieutenant General Matthew Glavy, Deputy Commandant for Information of the Marine Corps, said that Marines have always been innovators from amphibious operations to naval aviation and will continue to carry that tradition. AI presents yet another opportunity for Marines to showcase their ability to fuse technology, people, and processes to generate favorable outcomes across the competition continuum. Glavy added that the partnership provides an opportunity to rapidly upskill Marines to support the Corps' acceleration of AI adoption, ultimately leading to increased decision advantage for all commanders at all echelons. The hub was launched a few years ago to boost military-related AI research and facilitate rapid prototyping and scaling of algorithms to benefit the Department of the Air Force and the civilian sector. In other news, the U.S. Secret Service would get expanded investigative powers to take on cybercrime tied to digital assets under a new bill from a bipartisan trio of Senate lawmakers. Legislation introduced this week from Senators Cortez Masto, Chuck Grassley, and Amy Klobuchar would strengthen the Secret Service's authority to go after transnational cybercriminal activity and to investigate crimes connected to digital asset transactions encompassing structured transitions, unlicensed money transmitting businesses, and fraud against financial institutions. Cortez Masto said in a statement to Cyberscoop that the funding of criminal activity through digital assets poses a direct threat to the security and safety of the nation. This bipartisan and bicameral bill would allow for the U.S. Secret Service to better investigate new forms of financial crime involving digital assets. The Combating Money Laundering in Cybercrime Act of 2024, the companion to a January bill from 9 House lawmakers, mandates a government accountability report within a year to assess law enforcement's ability to detect and deter money laundering. For 20 years, the Secret Service has had an internal unit, the Cyber Investigative Section, charged with targeting cybercrime. Launched in 2004, it was one of the first federal divisions dedicated to cybercrime, centralizing operations and supporting major global investigations. In 2020, the agency announced the creation of its cyber fraud task forces, which combined its electronic crimes task forces and financial crimes task forces. The Secret Service said at the time that the merge was done with the goal of improving the coordination, sharing of expertise and resources, and dissemination of best practices for all its core investigations of financially motivated cybercrime. In the years since, current and former federal cyber officials have sounded the alarm on the monetization of security flaws and called for the hiring of more Secret Service, FBI, and Treasury Department agents with the cyber skills needed to conduct high-level investigations of the financial kind. For more news at the intersection of the federal government and technology, visit fedscoop.com. Thanks so much for tuning in to another episode of the Daily Scoop podcast, available on all podcast platforms. If you've already rated the podcast on your platform of choice, thanks so much. High ratings and good reviews of the show help more people to find it. The Daily Scoop podcast is a production of the Scoop News Group in Washington, D.C. Adam Butler and Carlin Fisher help put the show together, and the entire Scoop News Group team contributes. We'll be back tomorrow with more top headlines. Until then, I'm your host, Billy Mitchell. Thanks so much for listening.